Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. We are going to talk about Messi's continuity for 5 years, which links to the almost confirmed change between Griezmann for Saul Negs. Well, let's start with the information about Messi. FC Barcelona and Leo Messi would have already reached an agreement in principle for the renewal of the Argentine footballer. According to several Catalan media, the contract would finally be for 5 years, and not the 2 that would have been discussed at first. The Barça club awaits the final okay from La Liga to formalize the agreement in the coming days. The 5-year contract is the formula that Barça has found to be able to formalize Leo's registration in La Liga, given the downward salary limit that the club has for this season. Leo will have a release clause of €350 million in the event that another of the powerful in Europe wants to convince him to sign for them. The other important figure in the contract is the salary cut that Messi has accepted of 50%. Leo has understood the needs of the entity that the president, Joan Laporta, has expressed to him and the current economic situation. The step of Leo, the captain, is an important example for the other heavyweights of the club so that the first team can square the salary limit after a campaign without income. With the 5-year contract, Messi will be a Blaugrana until shortly, before he turns 39. I don't know about you, but I don't see Messi with 39 years playing for Barça, 2 years more certain than yes, 3, maybe. 5 seems exaggerated to me. I think he might finish the last 2 years in the US. The renewal of Leo Messi was a fundamental and essential issue on Joan Laporta's table, and different options have been considered taking into account the current economic situation of the club, that of the world of football in general, and the salary limit to which he has to adhere Barça after a disastrous season in terms of income. The official announcement is expected to be made at the end of the month, when Leo returns from his vacation, and of course, when other important issues such as Griezmann are resolved, which we will talk about in a moment. Okay, in this case, I need to say I am really happy with this information about Messi. It's great for Barça, because we need him. With all these economic problems, I think the continuity of Messi is essential to get out of this crisis. Please, don't think I only talking about the economical situation. Obviously, in the sport part, Messi continues to be the best player in the world, and of course, he can continue for almost 2 or 3 years with that high level. He will surely get his 7th Ballon d'Or, and why not an 8th with Barcelona, hopefully, other champions. This would be crazy, right? It must also be said that this is good for Messi. He won't be better off anywhere other than Barcelona. Is it true that we love Messi? Okay, changing the subject, we have the Griezmann case. First of all, I need to say I thought was false the news about the change between Griezmann by Saul. But it seems that everything is already very advanced. So, let's review the news. In this case, the president Joan Laporta is clear. The president of FC Barcelona is fully aware that the economic situation of the club is dramatic and that he also has to certify the continuity of Messi and his team, so he knows that he has to lighten Barca's wage bill. The Catalan team is close to removing Antoine Griezmann from the squad. The French striker could end up landing at Atletico de Madrid soon, and Saul would arrive at the Camp Nou. Since he arrived from Atletico de Madrid in exchange for €120 million, his termination clause for him at the time, Antoine Griezmann has been one of the players who has disappointed the most in recent times at Barcelona. In relation to value for money, the French footballer has become a problem aggravated by the very difficult economic situation of the Catalan club. Now he could put an end to his stage at Barca to return definitively to Atletico de Madrid. The agreement, according to La Cadena Cope, is close to being closed and would also take Saul to Camp Nou. As stated in this media, all parties consider that the operation is favorable to their interests. Griezmann intends to meet again with the best version of him under the command of Cholo at Atletico de Madrid. Saul arrives at a big club and Barca saves a very important card. At Barça, they were looking for alternatives to a departure for Griezmann to Atletico de Madrid so that what happened with Luis Suarez does not happen, but Manchester City has dropped out of the race, and the Barca club already sees with different eyes the possibility that the player returns to Madrid. Atletico de Madrid is working on repeating Griezmann for next season, knowing that the Frenchman's position is not a permanent starter, that he would be excited to return with his former teammates and his former coach, and that Barca is open to the operation being carried out because it sees benefits. At the same time, The Barca club greatly values Griezmann's contribution and his quality, but the economic situation is very tight, and if the long-awaited and desired renewal of Leo Messi is fitted, he will have to release other high chips. After the signings of Kun Aguero and Memphis Depay, Antoine's position is no longer that of a permanent starter, as he has been for most of last season. And more knowing that the signing of the Dutchman is an express request of Ronald Koeman, and that the hiring of the Argentine is closely linked to the continuity of Messi, and that he is a 9, the figure that Barca has not had during the past campaign. In short, staying is equivalent to substitution. For Griezmann, the possibility of returning to the club in which he triumphed opens for him. From the environment of the French footballer, it is insisted that there has been no call from Barca to propose the operation. However, the Barca club receives the information from Atleti that Antoine is willing to play the game because, since they propose an exit, returning to the command of Cholo Simeone and returning to Madrid is an alternative that it suits his family and himself very much. In fact, much more than moving to Italy to play in Serie A or to England to sign for a Premier League club. Although Manchester City wanted to clarify yesterday that it is not interested in signing the Frenchman, other clubs in the English league are attentive to his situation. What happens is that Griezmann, after leaving Barca, does not want to go anywhere, and the attraction of Atleti and life in Madrid is great. On his part, Saul is also clear that he prioritizes Barca over the Premier. With the players not opposing the operation, Atletico and Barca are advancing, and within both clubs, there is optimism to close it, although not in the short term. The Barca club would like money or some other player in the operation, but getting hold of a total midfielder like Saul, 26, and lowering the salary mass in order to make room for Messi more viable is a great temptation. Atleti and Barca advance, and both clubs believe that barter is a matter of time. In this case, it seems that Barca would not settle for an exchange since Griezmann's market value is much higher. Initially, the Azulgrana team would be claiming €15 million, but apparently, Atletico de Madrid would prefer to include more players in the operation. In this sense, it now seems that Mario Hermoso and Renan Lodi are being talked about as possible players who enter the operation. Well, as we can see, everything seems to indicate that this operation is going to take place. So, what is my opinion? I need to say that I've seen a lot of negatives comments with this change, and of course I understand. We have Griezmann, a world champion, a great star with an important media popularity, and on the other hand, we have Saul, a midfielder who promised a lot, but last season he even stopped being a starter at Atletico. It seems that not there is comparison, correct? And it is correct if we look at it from that perspective. But beyond that, we also have to say the following. One, and the most important, the club's economy. I know that we are not within the club to know how the situation is, but we do know the crazy things that Bartomeu did during his term as president of Barça. It is obvious that Barça is bad economically, and Griezmann is the second highest earning player in the squad, behind Messi. As point 2, we can talk about sports. For me, and I know that for many of you, Griezmann has not performed as expected. I am not saying that it is a package as they say in Spain, but his performance is not that of a superstar that cost €120 million. And finally, we can say that Saul is not a bad player as they want to make it seem. In fact, for me, he is a great player. Perhaps because of Atletico's game, he has not finished shining, but perhaps in Barça, he can explode as a player. I repeat, I like it. But I do not want to lie. Without a doubt, due to the market value of both players, it seems that we are losing with this change. It is also correct. I do not think that Barça needs Saul, but remember that this Koeman and he wanted Wijnaldum, do you remember? Okay, finally, I think that if this change occurs it could be positive for Barça. Do you think like me? Leave me your comments. Okay, that is all. Don't forget to support this channel. Until next time.